I was going to talk about for my Dharma talk tonight. And I jokingly told Marion, I said, I hope you didn't read too much of my book because this is one of the talks in there. But part of the reason I wrote this book with 19, 18 or 19 talks is that many of them I had already collected anyway, and now I just put them into long form rather than just an outline. But also, it gives me ready-made Dharma talks when I need them, or it gives them to somebody else a ready-made Dharma talk when they need it. So, so I had a friend that I met for coffee this morning, as I told you earlier, and his wife had been subject to a like a Bernie Madoff type of scheme, and she had lost quite a bit of money in one of these investment schemes, and so she was kind of distraught, and she was asking, why me? Why did this happen to me? What did I do wrong? Why is God punishing me this way? Um, and so I took a moment to talk to him about karma. Uh, he's Vietnamese American. His wife is 100% Vietnamese. Uh, and so they understand this cultural concept of karma, but they understand it in a way that I think doesn't help teach the lesson. And that's what I wanted to teach. And I tried to teach to him this morning. Uh, and so the title of this talk is called Karma, the Most Misunderstood Teaching. And so I just preface this with this story of my friend, his wife being cheated in this Ponzi scheme, Bernie Madoff type of false investment thing. So maybe something bad happened to you recently. Maybe something really good happened to you recently. And you're wondering, what role does karma have in all this? Karma is perhaps the teaching that is misunderstood most frequently. It appears in pop culture as a system of cosmic punishment or fate or moral justice. We hear it invoked when bad things happen to bad people, or when someone experiences an unexpected stroke of luck. They hit it big at the casino, or they won the lottery. This view turns a profound psychological teaching into a giant scoreboard in the sky. However, it misses the point entirely. In the Buddhist tradition, karma means action. The Pali word is kamma, K-A-M-M-A, kamma. It means action. That's what the word means. It could also mean habit or momentum. The most liberating aspect of this teaching on karma is simple. Karma is not what happens to you. Karma is how you choose to respond. To understand this clearly, we must first dismantle what karma really is. First, it's not punishment, because there is no cosmic judge handing out sentences. It's not fate or predestination. The Dharma completely rejects the idea that your life is pre-written. It's not a reward system where good deeds earn spiritual brownie points to be cashed in later. Most importantly, it's not a tool for victim blaming. Oh, he was born without a left leg. He must have had something bad he did in the future. Now he's having to pay for it. That's not what karma is. When someone experiences tragedy, like my friend losing a lot of money maybe, or structural oppression. It is a cruel distortion of the Dharma to blame it on anything, but certainly to claim that your suffering is a result of some kind of bad karma. Karma is never about tracking blame. It's about understanding the natural law of cause and effect. True karma operates as a living psychological process. Every single thought, every single word, every single deed plants a seed into the fertile ground of our consciousness. These seeds develop into habit energy. We repeat painful patterns in our relationships, in our behaviors, not because we're destined to do so, but simply because those patterns feel familiar to the ego. This repetition creates a powerful momentum. Our individual actions create tendencies. These tendencies harden into character. And our character ultimately shapes how we experience reality. Karma is never the past controlling the present moment. It is the choices we make in the present shaping our future. We generate this momentum through three distinct avenues. Bodily karma, the Buddha writes about these. Bodily karma, speech karma, and mind karma. Body karma consists of our physical movements and gestures, such as aggressively slamming a door or reaching automatically for our smartphone. Habit, function. It beeped, I gotta look. I'm pissed off at my husband, I'm gonna slam the door. Whatever it is. Habit, body karma. Speech karma includes the words we choose, our underlying tone of voice, and even our intentional silences. When I'm driving down the road, somebody cuts me off, far too frequently, a series of expletives come out of my mouth. Blaming the other person, how stupid they must be, how effing this, why didn't they learn to drive, whatever. Karma, habit karma, speech karma, just I have to consciously stop and think, control your tongue, control your thoughts. And then there's mind karma. That involves our hidden thoughts, our knee-jerk assumptions, and deep emotional habits. All of those are mind karma. Consider a modern sequence. An anxious thought arises in your mind. This is mind karma, causing us to snap irritably at a family member, speech karma, which then leads us to physically storm out of the room and slam the door, bodily karma. Again, karma means action or habit action, right? All of these things just become kind of a trained, habitual response we give to things. These three expressions reinforce each other in a closed loop. That loop is the very definition of karma. By looking through the lens of the Madhyamaka philosophy, we discover the Zen twist to all of this teaching. Madhyamaka was the Nagarjuna school of thought, okay, which led to Mahayanism. So basically it was Nagarjuna who helps us understand this karma. Karma is dependently arisen. It exists solely through changing causes and conditions. But the beauty is, karma is also empty. No habit or past action possesses a fixed, permanent, unalterable essence. And because it's empty, because it comes from something else, we can transform it. Karma is fully transformable because it's empty of a solid inherent existence. So it can be shifted, it can be reshaped, or we can dissolve it completely. And then we realize, we have that great realization. Karma is not a prison. It's a classroom for waking up. We break the momentum of our karma in real time by inserting awareness into our daily routines. That's why I said I have to stop and think before I get pissed off at the driver who cuts me off. I have to stop and think about it. I have to stop and think before I react to something my wife or my child does. In my interactions at work, at play, wherever. The moment we see an old habit clearly, its automatic power begins to wither away. One single mindful breath changes the trajectory of the next 10 minutes. Interrupting a potential spiral of activity. I have an anxious thought. I'll take myself right now in personal experience. We're talking about moving. We don't like the house we're living in. Where are we going to move to? So I might get anxious about that. And now I'm frustrated with where we are, and I know we need to move. I start weighing out, oh, what are the consequences? Now Mason's going to have to take a long bus ride. Oh, it's going to cost us more money. Oh, it's going to do X, Y, and Z. And now, all because of a thought that I had, stressing, if you will, about moving, I easily get pissed off at my wife when she says something. And then I react again. Why? Am I reacting because she said something that pissed me off, or am I reacting habitually because I was caught up in my own stressors about something else? And she just added one more stress onto it, which by itself would not have pissed me off. But on top of the other things, it might have pissed me off. You see, it's just how we react every time. How we react, how we react. So if we can just stop and breathe. Now I separate the two things. I separate the anxiety in my head about where we're going to move and how we're going to afford it and what's going to happen. I separate that from my wife asking me to do something else. Wash the dishes, take out the trash, cook for Mason, whatever it is that would by itself not piss me off. But when I throw it on top of the other things I've already worked myself up over, then it's one more habitual reaction. The key is breaking the chain and understanding that we can break the chain. So as I said, that single mindful breath can help us interrupt all the subsequent reactions. This practice of ours, this mindfulness practice, is about finding the gap. The gap between the external stimulus and our internal response. And usually there's only a tiny fraction of a second we have when that space opens up before habit kicks in. But in that space, karma dissolves and true freedom is born. If someone criticizes your work, for example, your old karma might urge you to become instantly defensive, angry, mad, cold. By resting in the awareness, you can pause, You can feel the heat of the emotion in your body and choose a completely new path. You respond then with clarity rather than acting or reacting out of habit, out of conditioning. Karma is not the trigger. Karma is what you decide to do next. We can practice this every day, starting right now. We can practice this by noticing just one karmic habit without an ounce of shame or judgment. And then approach that habit with open curiosity, like a scientist observing an experiment. Karma is never your destiny. Karma is simply your practice. How we react mindfully breaks the chain of karma and helps us relieve suffering, not just our own, but to other people. So as my friend was telling me about his wife being cheated out of this sum of money, more than she cared to lose, and he was asking, is this karma? Is this punishment from God? Did she do something wrong? Why did this happen to her and she was depressed over it? I said, rather than looking for blame, look for opportunity to understand. Take a breath and say, this is life. How do I not let this affect my relationship with my family, with my coworkers, with my employer? How do I not allow one bad, empty occurrence to continue to create bad things in the future? I can learn and I can let go. So next time you want to react, next time your neighbor pisses you off, next time your husband chops off the end of his thumb, whatever, stop and breathe and say, life happens. How do I not let this stress change everything else in the future? And by breathing, by mindful awareness, we stop the cycle of karma.